Projekt Guru.
Всем привет! С вами Zak Novak на радиостанции Novorossia Rocks. Welcome to Novorossia Rocks radio station. This is Zak Novak, your American in downtown Donetsk. The program is called Projekt Guru. Guru's in the house. Guru, thank you so much for all the hard work that you do. Hope your weekend was good. Andre, my engineer, here as well. Let's start off. Attack in Ankara carried out by a man and woman, according to Turkish Cumhuriyet newspaper. The terrorist attack in Ankara that killed at least 34 people was carried out by a man and woman, Turkey's Cumhuriyet newspaper reported on Monday. According to the newspaper, two people, one of them a woman, blew up the car in the key transport hub of the Turkish capital. The explosion in Guven, port in the Kizilaya district, killed at least 34 people and wounded over 120 more. According to preliminary information, a car bomb exploded near a bus stop. The Ankara bombing. A suicide car bomb in the Turkish capital city of Ankara was detonated today, killing at least 34 people and wounding 125 others, according to reports. There were two reported attackers and so far no claims of responsibility. Turkish officials say they suspect Kurds carried out the attack, and President Erdogan, Nazi Erdogan, vowed that the bombing wouldn't get in the way of the ongoing war against the Kurdish southeast. It is the second big attack in Ankara in 3 weeks, and the previous one was carried out by the Kurdish offshoot group, the TAK. Turkey responded to the bombing with a full ban on Facebook and Twitter, which according to courts was meant to prevent private photographs of the aftermath of the incident from circulating among the public. Turkish media coverage of the attack was also sparse, with the recently nationalized Zaman only including a brief story about the traffic being diverted in the area because of the incident. Turkey has been engaged with the war against the Kurdish PKK since withdrawing from a ceasefire with them in July, but is also in the middle of supposedly fighting ISIS. At the same time, a Marxist-Leninist group in Turkey has carried out bombings of its own, meaning there is no shortage of potential culprits. Our sister Republic Lugansk once again bombed villages of Kalinovka and Sancharovka hit. The Poroshenko Nazi regime, backed by the Obama administration, has once again unleashed bombing civilian areas, villages Kalinovka and Sancharovka over the holiday weekend, knowing quite well hitting soft targets to inflict as much carnage, death and destruction as possible to the people who were celebrating Maslenitsa during the holiday weekend. Also, the Ukrainian Junta military targeted the army LPR positions of the Lugansk People's Republic, which was shelled 4 times over the past 24 hours. Fire was opened twice from infantry fighting vehicles on the Kalinovka village from direction of Luganskoye village. The shelling from infantry fighting vehicles also targeted the Sancharovka village from directions of Troitskoye village. The Veselogorovka village also came under mortar fire, the LPR army said. There are no losses, no casualties. The ceasefire in Donbass region, eastern Ukraine, has been into force since January 14. However, Kiev Nazi forces continue violating the silence regime, war crimes on the Poroshenko junta. Guru, this just in. ISIS leaving several areas of Iraq heading towards Syria. ISIS has withdrawn with fighters from several towns in the Iraq Anbar province, redeploying the bulk of their forces further west toward the Syrian border. The town of Hit was the largest of those they left, along with nearby Kubasya and the desert town of Rufba. Iraq Syria spokesman Yaha Rasul said the Iraqi military's goal is to have warplanes targeting the withdrawing ISIS forces to prevent them from taking up positions elsewhere. ISIS initially took over Hit in October of 2014, an area contested intermittently by both the Iraqi military and some local tribal factions, executing members of pro-government tribal faction en masse shortly after seizing the town. The abandonment of Rufa likely reflects fighting at the Syrian border crossing of Tanf, which is primary supply route connecting Rufa and the rest of Southern Highway 10 to ISIS territory. Guru, check this out. More desertions and humiliation as Ukraine military go AWOL. 87 naval officers have deserted to Crimea since January, and a total of 559 went AWOL last year. Dumskaya Net news portal wrote. Only 135 people have been returned, while the command did not look for the deserters and even covered up the desertions, the report said. According to the Defense Ministry Working Group, the unit commanders are not looking for the deserters and even try to keep these cases under wraps. drafts. No information about 286 deserters could be found in the Navy files. Moreover, 155 officers of the Ukraine Naval Forces visited Crimea allegedly for family reasons. On March 11, 2014, following a coup in Kiev, Crimea adopted a declaration of independence from Ukraine, asking for reunification with Russia. On March 16, 2014, some 96% of Crimean voters chose to rejoin Russia, the motherland, in a referendum. Another mockery as Al-Qaeda terrorists seize U.S. weapons from U.S.-backed Syrian rebels. Al-Qaeda's Syrian wing, Jabhat al-Nusra, has turned on one of their traditional allies in Idlib province, the U.S.-backed Free Syrian Army wing called Division 13, accusing the group of planning to attack its own bases. Nusra followed this up with attacks on Division 13 bases, seizing both bases and a number of U.S.-made anti-tank missiles from the group. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights reported a number of FSA fighters were detained. Nusra dominates the Idlib province as the head of a coalition of Islamist-leading rebel factions. This coalition includes, or at least included, multiple U.S.-backed factions who are recipients of U.S. arms. The U.S. has expressed concern about Russian airstrikes against Idlib, even if targeting Al-Qaeda on the grounds they are threatened American allies. This purge of Division 13 suggests this may soon be a concern of the past, with Al-Qaeda apparently looking to further centralize their control over their emirate in Idlib, and other U.S. allies in the coalition must likely be sleeping with one eye open tonight. Guru, just to repeat this news, Turkey orders ban on Facebook and Twitter after the blast. An Ankara court ordered a ban on access to Facebook, Twitter, and other sites in Turkey on Sunday after images from car bombings in the Turkish capital were shared on social media. Turkey last year blocked access to Twitter over the sharing of photographs of a prosecutor being held at gunpoint by far-left militants. The blast on Sunday at a crowded transport hub in the city killed at least 32 people and wounded 75 more. So there you go, Guru. Erdogan Junta regime, fascist regime, closing down Facebook, Twitter, and all other media sites. Andre, interesting news this morning. Missiles with explosive warheads found on Serbian flight bound for the U.S. Serbia's authorities are investigating reports that a cargo package bound for the U.S. containing 2 missiles with explosive warheads was found on a passenger flight from Lebanon to Serbia. N1 television said the package with 2 guided armor-piercing missiles was discovered Saturday by sniffer dogs after an Air Serbia flight from Beirut landed in Belgrade Airport. Serbian media say documents listed the final destination for the AGM-114 Hellfire missiles as Portland, Oregon. The American-made projectiles can be fired from air, sea, or ground platforms. N1 reported Sunday that Air Serbia is helping in the investigation. The Serbian flag carrier says security and safety are the main priorities for Air Serbia. Hey Guru, thanks for the reminder. This was posted on my Facebook last night. A message for U.S. citizens from the Embassy of the United States, Ankara, Turkey. Embassy of the United States of America, Ankara, Turkey. The U.S. Embassy informs U.S. citizens that there is information regarding a potential terrorist plot to attack Turkish government buildings and housings located around the Ankara area. U.S. citizens should avoid this area. We advise U.S. citizens to review their personal security plans, remain aware of your surroundings and local events, monitor local news stations for updates, and follow local authority instructions. This was well before the bombing. Just a few hours, right, Guru? How scary. Some more crisis news from Novorossia. The constant barrage unleashing of heavy weaponry on the town of Yasinovataya, deliberately targeting civilians on the holiday weekend. It was non-stop shelling at one point, breaking the ceasefire agreement, and another major war crimes violation by the Ukraine Junta regime. Also attacks on the road connecting the cities of Donetsk and Gorlovka as the pro-Nazi Kiev troops hurled 40 mortars into the DPR army positions checkpoint near the town of Yasinovataya, the defense agencies of the Donetsk People's Republic said on Saturday. During the day, the Nazi Ukrainian side has shelled the Yasinovataya checkpoint with 10 mortars 120 caliber and 30 mortars of 82 caliber. A shot from a tank was also registered among the other shots. Nazi Kiev-controlled troops used grenade launchers and small arms as well. On March 11th, Ukrainian military made an attempt to regain control of the Donetsk road near Yasinovataya, a strategic road for the Donetsk Republic. The shelling has been continuing in the area for the past 7 days. Guru, this is very important. Nazi Ukrainian Junta military evacuates civilians in Donbass. The Nazi Ukrainian military began evacuation of Marianka settlement in preparations for breaking through defense lines of DPR west of Donetsk, the Republic's defense minister said. With the purpose of preparing an attack on position DPR, the Ukrainian Junta military have begun evacuation of civilians from Marianka, the source said. Adding thus, the DPR was relocating reserves to the engagement line west of Donetsk. Guru, Andre, listen to this. Normandy meeting demands Ukraine Junta government to accept Donetsk, Lugansk elections. As anticipated, the Normandy meeting on March 3rd and 4th in Paris cornered the Ukraine Junta to extract its acceptance of elections in the Russian-liberated territory. German Minister of Foreign Affairs Frank-Walter Steinmeier did almost all the hectoring. His French counterpart Jean-Marie Ayrault provided the echo, while Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov seemed content to watch almost aloof with minimal comments. According to Lavrov's account, Steinmeier and Ayrault proposed that the sides, Kiev and Donetsk Lugansk, agree with each other on holding local elections by June or July. We were ready to support this proposal, but the Ukrainian junta side asked them not to insist, so there was no progress on the main issue, namely preparing those elections. Lavrov showed flexibility in his own way, giving Ukraine until July to yield. Steinmeier and Ayrault set their deadlines for June at the latest. Lavrov's summary reflects the success of Moscow's tactics thus far, exonerating Russia of the aggressor responsibility, forcing the Kiev junta to deal with Donetsk and Lugansk, and using Western hands to pressure Kiev into conferring democratic legitimacy on Russia's proxies in Ukraine East, the Donbass. All right, folks, that ends our program. Everybody, as I stress, be safe out there, be alert, and see you all on Wednesday. Bye-bye, folks.